Chattanooga, Tennessee.
How old are you today? It's the 30th of September 1995. How old are you now?
I'm 95.
And you'll be,
I'll be 96 the 12th of October.
and where was you? You was in Rockdale. Where did you start the school?
I started to school in Fort Worth. I was in the first grade. But I had a little mug, a very small mug with my name on it, and 1904, Waco, Texas. It was bought at a fair. I kept it in my china cabinet, but some child must have liked it and taken it. So I don't have it anymore. And the first I remember, I was going to school in Fort Worth, Texas. My teacher's name was Mrs. Williams. And
What did your daddy do?
my father most of the time ran a laundry, or a public laundry, or a cleaning shop, or blocking hats and their things. We lived in Temple, Texas for a while. He had a cleaning shop, hat shop there that he cleaned hats. And across the street was a railroad station, and it had a Harvey house. And a man worked there, was a friend of Papa's, and he brought me a grapefruit, the first grapefruit I ever saw, and I guess tasted. And from Temple, I don't know just where we moved, but we moved from one small town to another in Texas at different times. I lived in, after Fort Worth, I guess we moved to Mineral Wells. I was in the second grade in Mineral Wells. And then we moved to a little town named Coppell, very small town. My grandfather and my father ran the cotton gin there. And I enjoyed that town because it was small and you could go everywhere. You had to get your water at a pump in a certain area and by town. And then we moved from Coppell to...
Wait a minute. So was that Grandpa's daddy or...
No, that was Mama's. That was my grandfather, my mother's father.
What was his name?
Jim Lawson.
And they came from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yeah. Mama was born up there. But her mother died. She had a baby boy, and she died. So the father let somebody adopt the boy, but he kept her with him all the time. And she traveled around wherever he went. She went with him until she met my father. And he tried to chase him off, but he didn't have any luck. They finally got married.
Did they marry in Fort Worth?
No, I don't know where they married. And I had to scratch.
That's all right, but you can't put your hand in front of the microphone.
Oh, I
You
see.
got to scratch somewhere else.
Oh, I see. Well, after, where was I? In Cleburne, or I haven't got to Cleburne yet, huh?
I don't think you got to Cleburne yet. You just left a little town where you got water out of the...
Oh, yeah, Coppell. We moved to Cleburne, Texas. And I really don't know what Papa did there, what work he did. But we rented a house that was next door to a family with 5 little girls. And boy, did we have a good time together. And one of the girls was my friend until she sent me a birthday card every year. until she died. She must have been about the same age I was, in her 80s. And we stayed in Cleburne. I was in the 5th grade, and I had lots of friends there, girlfriends, and some boyfriends. I was 11 years old. And my grandfather, Jim Lawson, my mother's father, got sick, and he came to live with Mama to take care of him. He had TB, and Papa decided to move out to Pecos and take him out there to see if it would help him. So we got on the train and went to Pecos, and we had a dog, and Papa said he put the dog in the dog was in the baggage car, but when we got to Pecos, there was no dog. He said, oh, I guess they kicked him off. So I don't know if he ever put him on there or not. But we thought a lot of the dog. And Papa was running a laundry out there, but the boiler wouldn't work because the water out there don't boil and you don't get any steam. So that didn't work. But my grandfather died, and he was buried out there. I went to the funeral in a surrey with a fringe and horses. And he was buried by the Oddfellows Lodge. And then my mother and sister and I went on a train to Rockdale, Texas, and stay with my uncle and aunt while Papa went somewhere and found a job.
Is that Uncle Monroe?
Uh-huh.
What was her name?
Aunt Mattie.
Aunt Mattie.
Aunt Mattie and Uncle Monroe.
That was Daddy's brother.
Yeah, my father's brother, but they were like grandparents to us. And every Easter, she sent Mama some white all over embroidery cloth to make us Easter dresses. Sister had a pink sash, and I always had a blue sash. And my grandfather, my mother's father, usually bought her our Easter slippers. But he only just came to see us once in a while. He didn't live with us. He worked on the bridge for the railroad, the bridges for the railroad. And from the, huh?
Then Grandpa moved back from Pecos to Rockdale?
No. He went on a job, and he sent for us. He was in Eagle Lake. And we took the train and went to Eagle Lake, where he was working.
How old was you then?
Huh?
How old was you then? How old was you
Oh,
when you moved to Eagle Lake?
I must have been 12 or 13. I don't know, just somewhere along there. And I had some baby chickens, and I put them in a shoebox and took them with me on the train. And we lived in an apartment for a week or two, and then rented a house. And I took piano lessons from a lady that owned the house that lived across the street. And but I didn't go back to school, and so I didn't meet many young people. But Sister and I would go to town together. It was a very small town. You walked to the post office, and our house, the house we rented, was on a hillside, and the railroad track was down below, and you could wave to the railroad men as they passed. If you go out went on the back porch. So one day when I went to the post office, this man was standing by the engine. It was just standing still. And he came over and asked me if I would write to him, or if he could write to me. So I said yes, and so we wrote letters. And he would, he'd come to see me. He'd come down on a morning train and go back in the afternoon train. And somehow he decided he wanted to marry me.
What was his name?
Huh?
What was his name?
Harry Howe.
That might have been my daddy.
It might have been. And so we got married at my sister's house by the same Baptist preacher. My sister was married there too, and the same preacher married me that married her. And then we went to Houston to live, and we lived in an apartment not more than a week till we had a house. My husband got a house, and my mother and father lived with us for about 13 years. We lived in Houston 2 years, and I had a baby girl the 4th of July, 1915. And she was 16 months old when we moved to Houston. And
You was what, 16?
Yeah, I was 16. We moved from Houston to San Antonio in 1916. And Harry's mother and father lived there, so we stayed a few days with them and found a house for sale about a block away. So we bought the house and moved into that and lived there 41 years in that same house and had 8 children, 7 more after I moved to San Antonio.
Well, all 7 of those were born in that house, weren't they?
Yes, all 7. And the third one was stillborn. So we had 7 left, and I had 1 girl, 5 boys, and twin girls. And I had twin girls when I was 32, and that was the last ones.
Your first
Huh?
girl, well, your first girl was,
My first girl,
what was her name? Verena.
oh, Verena Gertrude Howe.
And your next son?
Harry Dorman Howe. And the next one, we were going to name him Carl. And then the next one was named Robert Howe. No? Huh?
Mill?
Robert Milton Howe. And the next one was Emmett Irvin Howe. And the next one was Aubrey Lewis Howe. And then the girls was Marcel Howe and Marcia Howe. And then we moved and we bought some lots out of the city ways when my husband retired, and had a house built and moved out there. My son and 2 daughters also bought lots and built houses. We all lived on the same street, and we all had 1 acre and a third of land.
Moved out here in 1958.
Huh?
Moved out here in 1958.
Yeah, we moved out here. It was outside the city then, but it didn't take long till they took us in to pay taxes. And I sold my house when I was 86 years old. I sold my house to my grandson, Robert Howe's son, Tommy Howe, and moved over next door with my daughter because her husband had died of lung cancer. I think he was about 49 when he died, and she was still living in the house, going to finished paying for it, and she had a 12-year-old. She had 3 daughters, and she had a 12-year-old when he died. And then I moved with her, and one of her middle daughter moved with her too because she got a divorce from her husband. She had a little boy and a little girl. And that boy's 17 now, and the girl's 14, and she went to college, and her mother kept her children while she went to college. She wanted to be a school teacher. So when she got through, she got a job at the school she went to when she was little, and she's been working there 11 years, the same school.
How many grandchildren do you have now?
I have 21 grandchildren and 34 great-grandchildren and 5 great-great-grandchildren. And my children all live in San Antonio except one. The youngest boy lives in Austin, which isn't too far away. So I have them close around. And
you're ready?
Huh?
You're ready in about 2 weeks to celebrate your 96th
Yeah.
birthday.
I'm going to celebrate my 96th birthday in about 2 weeks. My sister died the 7th of April, and she would have been 98 on the 19th. And I had no other brothers or sisters, just one sister. And she had 4 children.
And your husband passed away?
Oh, my husband passed away in 1973. He had a bad stroke when he was 71 and I was 61. And he was an invalid for 13 years before he died. So I lived alone 13 years before I moved into with my daughter. I guess that's about all up to date. I see all of my children often, and they do things for me. They are a blessing.
God's blessed us all.
Huh?
And God's blessed us all.
Yeah, and yes, and God bless us all.
You can say your little prayer you say all the time if you want.
Oh, yes. The light, I'll just say my prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me, and the presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. That's what I said.